I can't remember if prima nocta is one of those things that probably Kyle at one point told me, like, it was nothing like that. Or if you led me the other direction, was like, oh, that was a real thing. Because you could lie to me right now either way.
Mm-hmm.
If it was something that never happened, or if it actually did.
If you put a gun to my head, I'd probably say it happened. But I don't remember the historical stuff. Obviously, I remember the Braveheart references.
Yeah.
And that does seem like something the English would fucking do. So
yeah,
maybe.
It's definitely an English thing.
Yeah,
because they hated the Scottish though. Surely they did it to try and breed them out,
and ensure loyalty, and all sorts of things, and just get laid, right?
Exactly.
That's part of it. A lot of the witch persecutions was about that. They just wanted to like disrobe and torture ladies. I saw an interesting green text recently about the state of modern women, and it was that after generations and generations.
When you had me a green text, bro.
So I was popping around Pole, and
I went to 4chan to learn about girls. How'd it go, Kyle? Tell us more.
First of all, it's we're there's good folks over there.
On both sides, sure.
On both sides. There's people on
Yeah.
both sides of 4chan that are good people. Okay,
Oh, shit.
Anyway, they suggested that after generations and generations, thousands of years, if you will, you'd have this scenario that would play itself out where the attacking army would surround the city would be defeated, and all the virtuous, honorable women would kill themselves, because that's what you do. Their husbands have gone out and fought to the death. They didn't win. Now you kill yourself so that not only you can meet him in the afterlife, but so that you won't be raped and dishonored, because your honor is your family's honor as much as it is your husband's honor. You're doing everybody a solid, including yourself, unless you're a dirty whore and you don't care. And so we just repeated that process for 2,000, all of time. Yeah. And now we're left with modern women.
Descendants of dirty whores. That makes sense.
And
you could argue that only brave men have died then, so that all men are now descendants of pussies.
You could argue that only strong fighters have won, because that's all that's fucking left.
Right.
Look, there's
Flush. We only do the anti-woman part on the show.
We're sitting here. All people. If we're sitting here, we're the descendants of the people who were best at fucking surviving in a scary, awful fucking world. We've got good genes.
I mean, up until like 60 years ago, then everything became easy. Now people don't die in childbirth and shit like that.
Yeah, but my dad was born back in the polio time, so I'm still at least a half blood.
Yeah. You're a half blood hard man. Yeah. You're a hard man by name, soft man by nature.
Yeah, we're only a generation removed from real hard men, though. For realsies.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Like my dad, I would consider like a hard man.
Yeah. Well, in our hemisphere in particular, I don't think there are as many hard men. And what I mean, like, fucking, like, ruthless, tough as nails. Like, the people who had made it through, like, the Wild West, or, like, fucking, I don't know, just the olden times that were full of war. And
who are you thinking of in the other hemisphere? Like, who are those MMA guys?
The Dagestanis, the Russians,
like those guys?
Yeah. All of those people that are from like warlike tribing communities. That anybody who's in a country,
they grew up in Kosovo and shit like that.
Yeah, there you go. Those countries that are the size of 3 American counties, and they're shaped like a zigzag, and they're attached to 8 other similar countries, and they all hate each other. Those are hard motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They are. That's why they're good at fighting, and they seem to love it. They're all about it. Would Putin's console even sell well in Dagestan, even if they because they love them there? But I guarantee they're not going to be. I bet they don't even have like 360.
They're on that
there.
Sigma grind, right? They wake up every day and
it's like
just
a Saturn,
wrestle.
bro. They're still huffing on CDs and
they're blown into cartridges. They're not up to CDs yet, for sure. No way.
Bears.
Our audience has never blown into a cartridge.
Yeah, they have. Retro gaming is so big. That's got to be.
Right.
I see that on Reddit. I choose to believe it's fucking bots. I get that. Like, if you're 15, maybe you haven't seen a cassette recent. Maybe you don't know what a cassette is. But Jesus Christ, all of y'all out there who are like 20 plus, y'all know what an audio cassette looks like. You've probably listened to one. Your uncle probably has an old truck with a player in it, and he stuck some George Strait in there one time. Like
I don't know, audio cassette, probably not.
I think you might be going too far.
Retro gaming, yeah, maybe cassette, but cassette's a breach.
A 20-year-old was born in 2004.
Yeah.
And so
CDs
I would not be
already gone
surprised at all if they have no experience whatsoever with cassettes. Like they probably barely have used CDs.
They've never put
they probably haven't used CDs. Like 2004.
Oh, they've never done one of those.
They put the pencil in there and fix the
Man, I bet they look at that and they're like, what? In olden times, they would force the children's fingers into this slot.
That's how they got you to read.
Yeah, if you look in the old paintings, the children have very pointy fingers.
Look at how grades went down after they got rid of that.
Yeah.
Did you guys have when you were at school? We had a thing where you had to work your way up to being able to use a pen. What was it?
Yeah.
Like a
It was an earned. It was a privilege, not a right, and it was about your handwriting, and it was about how many mistakes you're gonna make. Like you can't be fucking scribbling shit out. If you're gonna have a big mess of it, they would let you use a pen if you could use a pen.
Yeah, I remember specifically. It was like in whatever grade it was, they had for the whole year. They're like, if you become good at handwriting, you get what's called your pen license. And I didn't get it, and I didn't get it for the whole year because I was such a messy writer. And then I went to the next grade, and then everyone was just using pens, and I had pencils on the first day, and I was like,
wow.
Hang on, am I meant to have like my pen license? And the teacher's like, oh no, we don't do that in this grade. And I'm like, oh. I guess I'll bring up.
You're just a pencil guy now. Sorry. Your own scarlet letter.
It sounds like to this day you're using pens illegally.
Yeah, I am using pens illegally. Pens, I'm an unlicensed pen operator. Yeah,
I remember as a kid in school there being years not grasping that pencils were not going to be a thing as an adult. I can't remember the last time I wrote something in a pencil instead of a pen. Can any of you? It was sometime around fifth grade, or maybe middle school.
Golf.
I can't even remember the last time I used a pen. Oh, golf would be a pencil, but to actually write something down on a notepad, I can't even tell you the last time I did that.
Yeah,
I do a lot of just DIY projects, and I use pencils for that. You can get rid of the mark.
That makes sense. But as far as jotting down notes or a little to-do list, I gun to my head, if someone broke into my house right now and was like, find a fucking pencil, I'm gonna play it off, I'd be like, you're gonna have to kill me.
Yeah.
Because there's no pencils here, loser. Get your pen license.
I don't even use it when I'm doing DIY shit because this is super lazy, but a lot of the time I'll just use we call them Stanley knives here, but the box cutter, razor blade things. I just use that to mark stuff, and it's really lazy because I obviously have lost all what are you
chiseling scrolls or something?
No, you just mark shit with it. It's just easier.
We would use Sharpies. We would just buy a pack of cheap Sharpies at the dollar store if we were doing we would do these projects that involved hundreds of marks and you'd have a chop saw
but PVC plumbing type of
kind of PVC plumbing, but on an agricultural project where you're doing fogging, misting lines, and you need 800 links of 17 inches of pipe, and it's just chop, chop, chop. So you've got one guy just walking along, swipe, swipe, swipe with a Sharpie, and another one chop, chop, chop. I hated those fucking jobs.